Awesome, guys. Welcome to Coffee Connect. Listen, emails are there. CC info at Addicted to Connecting. Happy to add anybody to the list that wants to be added so you know what's coming up. The website is there. I just happened to look at the website this morning. I posted last week's video, but I didn't update the blurb underneath the video for whatever reason. So I have to go in and change that sometime today. I'll get that done. Celebrate. Speaking of, he just popped in, right? What a blessing. My wife and I went to the movies Friday night, right? And the movie ended. Obviously, the lights come on in the theater. We start to walk out, and Darcy's there with his wife, right? And so it was a great meeting of the minds. And, had we never connected through the avenues, right, we would have just walked by each other at the movie theater the other night and stuff, and not had any conversation. So awesome. So networking chaos, right? Hopefully it's got you curious, right? And we're going to create some chaos. But at the end, I really hope that you feel connected with those that you meet. Everyone also feels awkward networking, right? I was in my little group this morning. I said, most of us don't want that feeling of that first moment that we met our spouses, right? The awkward silence, the goofiness that incurs right along the way, maybe, or whatever. The secret is that everyone feels that way though when you're out networking, right? Whether it be the first time I met Jeff in person or Diane or anybody, right? I think there's always that moment of, are we going to have a connection? Is there going to be something that we can talk about, right? I was trying to explain this to my 91-year-old mother who yesterday had her first day of home health care, and the aide come in, and I'm like, you will find something to talk about, trust me. Because no one likes the silence, right? No one likes to sit around in silence and stuff. And so they found things to talk about, and there were some connections there and stuff that were made, right? And so the first thing I need you to do is just show up. I definitely need you to embrace the unexpected today, so that hopefully you can leave with some real conversations, right? I think often, like I said earlier, we network and we try to get our pitch perfect, and we want it to be the same way every time. Dude, that adds too much stress, right? It adds almost too much pressure to the only thing that we're trying to do is build a relationship at that point, right? I don't need Lamar to know everything that I can do, right? I need Lamar to know enough that he says, Rodney, we should meet again. That's the only thing I need, right? The first time that I talked to Diane about Coffee Connect back in 2020, right when COVID happened, it wasn't. I just needed Diane to understand what I was trying to do, right? What I was the group that I was trying to build and the relationships that I was trying to create, not just for me, but for everybody that came into the group, and that I felt that the things that she could share with people, right, that was going to be valuable to everybody here. And that was 6 years ago, and God's blessed me the fact that she hasn't stopped attending, right, and she continues to come back. And it didn't have to be a perfect conversation. It just had to be one that was started right along the way. And so awkward moments are going to occur. I think creating the memories around those awkward moments are the best ones. I'll share one with Lamar as well, right? I, first of all, only seeing Lamar on Zoom, I just assumed Lamar was always 10 foot tall and bulletproof, right? And he was just the stature of a man that I could only hope to become at some point. And I still do hope to become Lamar-like, right, at some way, shape, or form. But then I met Lamar, right? And I'm 6'1", guys, okay? But Lamar is not, right? But he's nonetheless, right? He hasn't come off the pedestal that I feel like he's on in my eyes, right? But those are memorable moments to me, right? I will never forget those moments. And hopefully I created some stigma in the same way in Jeff's mind and Lamar's mind and Dave's mind when we first met, right, and stuff. And so that's what we can hope for, right, to help create good connections that are lasting and everything else. And so I'm not going to go over the agenda. Let's just kind of jump right into this. Go ahead and get ready for breakout room number 1. And we're going to go, it's just a one-to-one, right? We're only going to go for about 4 or 5 minutes. Okay, we're not going to do 9 or 10. This says 8. You can set it for 8 if you want to, Jeff. I mean, but we'll end it when we feel like we need to end it. I don't want groups of 3 or 4 people. Okay. I want people to jump in and get real comfortable with themselves as far as who they are. I want you to answer 3 things: who you are, what you care about, and one thing about yourself that will genuinely surprise the other person in the room. Okay? Who you are, what you care about, and one thing that you genuinely that will genuinely surprise the other person in the room. Right? Don't use any job titles or anything like that. Are we ready, Jeff? Guys, what did you say if you weren't using a job title? Like, how did you introduce yourself? Daniel, go ahead. Yeah.
Well, Manu and I, we were in the same room together. We have met each other before, and so we just more or less talked about where our names came from, how we got our names, and that was kind of fascinating. And I honestly feel like it wasn't long enough for us to be talking to each other.
It's never long enough, for sure. I remember when we first started Coffee Connect, everybody used to get mad at me because I would cut them off on the breakout rooms. For sure. It's never long enough. Yeah, I mean, there's always a connection that can be found, right? What else?
The
Well,
question
we did
of
talk about
what,
what we did,
yeah.
not
Okay.
not with titles, but kind of because I think
What-
that does say something about where your interests lie and what you enjoy doing and who you enjoy working with. So we talked about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think Jeff puts this well when we talk about networking a lot, obviously, and Jeff says, "What problem are you trying to solve? Right? Who are you trying to solve it for? Right? I mean, those things can come out, and you don't have to say what your job title is or whatever, but it does speak to what you're passionate about and what you truly care about and stuff. In
Absolutely.
the end, Dave, you got something?
Gee, thanks for Lamar. Like we didn't know each other in the first place. So I forced him. Well, thank you. I forced him not to go into I help people. I'm a retired. I go, who are you? So Lamar, would you please, after we talk, who are you, Lamar? Please share. No, seriously, please share that because I think it's important.
You're muted.
Lamar, you're muted.
I'm still struggling with that question, and I don't even remember the answer that I gave.
Lamar is an elderly gentleman who forgets easily. What we were saying is Lamar is family and faith based. What does he care about the most now? His brother, his grandkids, his wife, and that exudes into why he's such a good networking contact because he does give a shit about. He does give a shit about other people, and it really makes a difference. It's not about what he did; it's what he's doing right now. He's always had that genuineness, and that's what I wanted to force out of him because we all know he's a retired banker who played racquetball, who got his ass whipped by me, and we have a lot of stuff going on there. But he's also probably my closest friend that I've had now for way too long. But I hope it's another 10 or 20
40
years.
years. We met in Chicago.
So anyway, that's it. I got Lamar out of his comfort zone just a bit.
I like it. I like it. So, is anyone's introduction, did it surprise anybody? Rita, you can feel free to speak too.
Well, I was surprised by, unfortunately, about Dave. He said, "What would surprise you?" Is I've always thought of Dave as an incredible athlete. We played racquetball together. We've played golf together. He's always beaten me at everything we played. And now with some health issues, he may not play golf at all this year.
You can beat him.
You can.
Well, no, he's
you have a
pretty
chance.
smart.
You have a chance.
I have health issues too. I haven't picked up a club in 12 months either. So,
Ray, that's not even funny. Okay, I just want you to know.
I almost sprayed coffee on my keyboard from that, Ray.
They were friends before Ray was born. That's not even right.
Oh,
What
that's
else?
sad.
What else surprised you, or did you find interesting in someone's introduction?
So Steve was in my group, and it surprised me that he was an Eagle Scout, and he's active in his kids' Eagle Scout.
Okay. Yeah, it's not heard of as often probably anymore. I mean, I know Andy and I talked about this, I think, didn't we? At one point. 'Cause I was
The Eagle Scout, the scouting thing?
Yeah.
What? Yeah. I
Yeah,
may
'cause I
easily
was-
have talked about that with you. Yes.
because I was an Eagle Scout too.
I didn't know
You
that.
were too, right, Andy?
No, my son was. I was a
Okay.
scoutmaster. Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't know you were an Eagle Scout. That's
Curiosity, like raise your hand if you were an Eagle Scout here. Okay.
Can't see my black screen, but that's fine.
Yeah, I got you, Steve.
How about Light
Yeah.
Scouts or Tenderfeet? Can we get down to those levels?
no, it doesn't count.
That's right.
Can I use that as an example, though? I
Second
really
class,
think this
first
is important. Think about going to the produce section. You don't just grab the first 6 ears of corn. You don't just grab the first tomatoes. You check them out. That kind of thing, like an Eagle Scout or other non-business, I want to get something from that, are the most important things. It's quality, not quantity. So when you are talking about things, you're really just, you're there to learn about the person. And maybe you're both Reds fans, which in itself is a good win because you'll have something to talk about the next time. But I think I would always interview an Eagle Scout. That was just a no-brainer for me. That just meant that person went over and above early in his life. So there's triggers. Those are the types of things. So think when you're doing this, the next round, what are the quality things that would identify you as somebody like Kat? I got to know her last 2 weeks ago. And one, I now can call her Kat, but I also had a lot of respect for her in that room. So those are the types of things that he's like, I hope at some point I'll get shuffled in and we'll get to learn a little bit more.
And now we know why Kat didn't come back today. Oh wait, no, she's here. I'm just kidding. So I think it's so important, right? We create this awkward sense around networking because we're fearful of a lot of things, right? One of those being like, is there really going to be a connection when I talk to Brian, right? Are we going to have something in common that we can continue to discuss and build upon and stuff, right? And those things. And so we're gonna shuffle these up one more time, right? And using still one person per room, if we can, Jeff. Or I'm sorry, 2 people per room. Yeah, it doesn't help.
I have one triple in my. I'm gonna increase the room so there'll be somebody with one and somebody will go in.
That's perfect. That's perfect. And so, in a similar fashion, right, we're going to introduce ourselves, but I also want the other person to throw a curveball type of a question, right? I want you to think of maybe, like, I'll just share. Like, I threw something at Rita that she probably never heard before, and maybe all of you have never heard before. But 3 months prior to entering the Navy, I was arrested for a felony. Some of you might go, what? Right? As of August of 89, fleeing an officer was a felony in the state of Ohio. And I was running some stop signs, getting home late because I feared my dad more than I did the law, right? For sure. And I mean, I didn't, the cops weren't chasing me or anything like that. I literally seen the cops, pulled over, waited for like a minute and a half while they got up to me, right? And then I got arrested for fleeing an officer, right? But you know, that curveball question might be, oh my gosh, like what did your parents think of you at that point? Right? Or something to that, to add on and kind of dive into maybe that surprising factor that was revealed during their introductions. So Jeff, you ready?
I have a surprising number of people I know that are felons. This is interesting. Right.
I'm just going to say that Jeff had said that I didn't know what I was doing earlier.
So we're gonna ask everybody to raise their hand if they're a felon when we come back. Okay, so go ahead, Jeff. Shuffle the breakout rooms up.
Rooms are opening. Same time. 7 minutes with a women
Yeah,
break.
that sounds great. That was perfect time. Yeah,
That's a good way to put it.
That's it.
That's
So-
networking in a nutshell.
So what curveball caught you guys off guard? What question seemed insightful? Anybody gain any insight from the person that they just met in their room?
I got to learn about Rodney's last name, and which is something that I kind of thought of, but that was fascinating to me.
Yeah, go ahead, Diane. Go ahead.
Sure. I loved Manu's question is what did you think you knew and later found was wrong? That was
Oh, I like it.
yeah. It was an amazing question and conversation. So I thank you.
Writing
But I've
that
lost
down.
him on
Do
there.
we get the answer to that? Wait a minute.
Well, you want my answer?
Yeah,
Okay.
you're okay to
So
share.
I trained as a StrengthsFinder coach in 2008 for individuals, in 2010 for teams. And the thinking at the time was that we all have neuronal pathways in our brains when we're born, and so many millions of neurons. When we use our brains, we travel the most frequently, easily used pathways. That becomes the foundation of our strengths. Those that are not used eventually die off. So after the last year of an intense deep dive in coach training for using neuroscience-based tools, I learned that that is not in fact true. While we do have superhighways, we can work to build lesser pathways with concentrated effort to make them much stronger than they were. So it really rocked my world after 15 years.
That's awesome. That is awesome. And that is a great question. That is a phenomenal question.
To be fair, I can't take credit for that question. It comes from a program called the Make Me Smart by American Public Media.
We might all be able to use that. Hold on.
You should have just let people believe it was yours, Manu.
Oh, of course, I created the program myself
Own it, bro.
in my garage,
Own
which
it.
I don't have.
With his wife, Morgan Fairchild. Yeah.
I am curious. I'm looking at breakout rooms. Catherine and Darcy.
Quick
I'm gonna
side-
come back to you, Ray.
Oh no, I was just letting everybody know. Pam asked for my conversation starters, and I put them in the chat for anybody that wants to copy them. That's all.
Cool.
There you go.
I have
Yeah.
a list.
So Rodney, I think after our intros, Kat, how did you phrase the question to me? I didn't write it down.
That's a good question. I think
What
it
have you
was, what did you,
learned?
what did you learn from your daughters
Yeah.
that really changed your point of view?
Yes, I think it was what have you learned from others? And I went down the path with my youngest daughter, got two adult daughters, and it was oftentimes folks in our generation will say, you're going through a rough patch, just pull yourself up by your bootstraps. And my younger daughter always looks at me and says, Dad, that's cool, but what if they don't have boots? And so it's just that way to look at the world a little bit differently. They've opened my eyes to what I think may not always be absolute, and just kind of make sure that you're not pushing others down just because I think one particular way. So
Last I looked, Crocs had straps on too. Okay.
Not everyone has feet.
bare feet, brother.
She is so true, man. She is so true. What else? Ray, Pam? Apparently you got some good starting conversations. What else?
Well, the question I asked was what was the favorite movie or surprising movie that you wouldn't think I would know about Ray? And it was can't remember the title. I do apologize, Ray, but it was where they were going transferring dimensionally into different areas. Mine was Battleship.
Battleship. I almost turned that on again last night just because I was like anxious about it. But What was the name of the movie, Ray?
Jumper.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that would be the coolest power to have, to be just kind of be anywhere all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Lamar, what you got, buddy?
I would like Andy to share with you his question that he really stunned me with.
It was a joke. I liked your question.
No,
Tell-
no, no.
tell yours and I'll share mine.
I'm going to use your question, okay?
So my question was, how do you tell the introverted engineer from the extroverted engineer? More of an engineer joke, but it works with.
I got this one too. If anyone else wants to take a hint at it first.
So what's the answer?
All right. They look at your shoes when they're talking instead of their own.
Their own.
Yeah, right. The extrovert looks at the other guy's shoes. Yeah.
It fits me to a T.
So Lamar, now you got to share what your question was, because it was good. I'm adding it into my list that Ray put up for my my notes from today.
I'm having the same problem with you that I had with Dave Skoglund. I asked so many questions, I don't know which one you're referring to.
So you said one of your favorite questions to ask people is,
okay, I do remember now. And this is a true story. When I meet someone for the first time, I love to ask them, what do you love to do when you're not working? So I was at a conference once, actually a training session. We were all sitting at tables. There were two people sitting this close together, looking at their computer, not talking to one another. So I came up to them and I said, may I ask you a question? And they said, sure. And I said, what do you love to do when you're not working? And the first one says, oh, I love to play golf. And the other one said, where? They started talking and I walked away. They had found a common ground that they were both comfortable talking about. And that's one thing I've learned about networking. Find a common ground and it's a lot easier to talk to someone, whether they're an introvert or an extrovert.
So I asked Pam the question. Oh, go ahead, Rita.
I would also say sometimes it isn't like a person or in this case, an activity. Sometimes you find commonality with people through shared emotional experiences. I was at one of the events here in Cleveland. I ran into a lady I met once through Michelle Ribb. We barely chatted with each other, and I asked her how she was doing. And in that moment, she shared with me that she felt like she was struggling because where she was going and growing into, she was losing a lot of friends. And those friends just kind of weren't growing with her. And it was the friend's choice. It was a whole group of friends. It wasn't just one friend. So it's, a lot. And I said to her, I'm not saying I'm full of wisdom. I'm full of malarkey too. But in that moment, I said to her, the beautiful thing about coming to things like this is it is a sharp reminder that friendships can be made every single day, and that there's a possibility in this room of you meeting a whole nother group of people who just feels lighter and easier and can fulfill some of those roles that take you more into your future. And while we always love having friends that we've had since we were in grade school, high school, college, military service, those friends share a place in our lives. But that may not always be sort of the primary part of your daily calendar going into the future. And she stood there and she held my hand for a couple minutes. And she was just like, because I think she's gone on a huge journey with cancer and losing weight and changing work, and her passions and her fulfillments have shifted so greatly that not everybody's going to be in the same place as her. So I think sometimes just showing empathy to others, having that, just putting something out there that just feels more emotional versus that can be really effective too. Because a lot of us are spread really thin right now. You either have no work or too much work, and so just being kind and empathetic sometimes is the way to really connect with people.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is so true, right? As we grow and stuff, not everybody's going to rise to the same level as we do, right? It's okay. It's not just in the friends form, right? It's in family as well. I think one thing I've learned from going independent these last 9 years, right, is that not everybody is going to be your cheerleader. And part of that is because they see what you're trying to work towards, right? And they don't understand why you're trying to leave where they're at, right? And that's okay. So I will tell you guys, the most memorable networkers aren't the ones that are like entirely polished and everything like that, right? They're just the ones that are most genuine about life and what's going on and stuff like that. And so we're going to go to one more breakout. And Jeff, hopefully you got them shuffled up, right? This is a real simple breakout. We are going to do
this one.
I actually shuffled them up. I'm sorry.
Then I won't mess with it.
Hey, Jeff or Rodney, if you could pull me out, I've got a drop. I've got a follow up with a recruiter from an interview process that I'm in.
All good.
So,
we got 3 or 4 people in each room, so we'll
awesome.
be in good shape, Darcy. Thank you.
All right. Thanks everybody for all you do. I'm gonna drop.
Best of luck, buddy. Best of luck.
Darcy. Good luck.
Thank you. We'll see you.
So the last breakout, guys, is real simple, right? I just want you to reveal a networking truth, right? I think many of you may look at me and go, Rodney can go introduce himself to anybody. And for the most part, I can. But I will tell you my networking truth is that doesn't mean that I don't have fear inside of me, right? That is lingering to go, oh my gosh, when I go talk to this guy, Andy, what's he going to think about me? What's he going to say? How's this going to result, right? What's going to be the response? What's going to be anything that comes of this? Or am I going to have any value to add to him or anything? Like all of those things come to mind, guys, right? That is my true network. That's my networking truth. Like every Thursday morning, there is some level of anxiety when I go to breakfast, partly because I know who's going to show up. I know Clint is going to show up and a few others that show up religiously, but I also don't know who's going to show up, right? Because any one of you or any number of 100 people that read Julie Meyer's networking list could show up, right? And part of that gives me anxiety, but part of it also gives me hope that, man, I'm going to have an opportunity to create new relationships and connections and build new friendships. So we're going to go to a breakout room. I just want everybody to reveal their one networking truth, and then we'll come back here and wrap this up for today, right? All righty. Did anybody's truth come as a surprise to you?
Yes, I had one. Jamie mentioned that she's an extrovert and she still has, not sure how to approach people having conversations in networking and stuff. And I thought only us introverts had these issues. So, I mean, the only 2 extroverts I can think of was my father-in-law and my grandfather, who had no trouble introducing themselves to whoever they felt like it. And so it's good to know that we're all in the same boat, I guess.
Yeah, I think it is so important to know that, hey, I think everyone has some level of that, right, out there of not knowing or the anxiety or the fear or whatever else it might be. And so good deal. What else? What other questions did you guys find as a surprise or truths that you found as a surprise? Okay.
I stated something that I wasn't sure that most people weren't aware of, but it's when you go to large groups, you should network on the outside of the room and not the inside of the room.
Why is that?
Because most of the important people are on the outside of the room. The people that are running the show or speaking, they're all kind of on the edges because they're behind the scenes essentially. So those are the people you want to talk to because they can introduce you to all the people in the middle of the room whenever you need to know them.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And then if you're an introvert, it is okay to have a wing person going to these larger events, and it'll make you more stable on your feet.
And being that wing person is so important and fun if you're a wing person. Oh, let me introduce you to so-and-so. Let me bring them. You got to meet this person. You got to, this is why you're going to want to talk to this person.
That being said, not everybody can be a wing person.
Correct.
Right. You got to pick the right person, right? And not everybody can be your wing person. Trust me.
Yes.
Two introverts going together may not equate.
It does not work that way. I've learned.
It may not work. May not work out very well, right? And so
I offer to be the wingman for people, especially when they're new to this stuff.
So I think, guys, we should always have that thought in our mind. Like, I connect best when these events or these occurrences or this environment is in place. And if we can focus on that, right, again, it goes back to we'll create more opportunities for ourselves as well, create more opportunities for those that are around us when we can do that. Diane?
I also think that it's important to have an agenda when you go, particularly if you are more introverted, because once you've accomplished your agenda, you can give yourself permission to leave. It's got to be a strategic agenda, but go do the job and then you can leave and withdraw and recharge, says the total extrovert in the room.
Yeah, I like that too. Yeah. What did you come here to accomplish? For sure.
Mhm.
And so, uh, last kind of minute here. I mean, we're into this. It's 11:01. I think these conversations are just things we need to keep having, guys. Right? And all of you know the importance of networking. You all know the importance of growing that relationship and maintaining and sustaining those relationships over a long term. It's not just about the transactional piece, right? That occurs. Again, I'll go back to Andy and I. We met probably 7 years ago, right? And we realized, oh, we've got a lot in common from our nuclear standpoint and Navy standpoint and stuff like that. But also, I think our business philosophies, our leadership philosophies, all of those things kind of sync up so much, right? That it's almost impossible to let go of each other. And that's great to feel because you know, or you never know, I should say, when that's going to stop building, right? When things are going to stop growing for you and stuff. And so I can only hope that all of you can continue to build those relationships with the people around you, right? And grow yourself in the same way. Next week, guys, we've got Carla Hale coming in to talk to us about how we can stress less and do more, right? A little bit more. And then Daniel, we still got to talk whether we're going to jump into that. I know Jeff's working on some networking discussions for us to really talk about how to help create these one-on-one conversations with people outside of those big group perimeter discussions, right? How do we create one-on-ones to meet again and do those follow-ups and stuff? And so we'll end on that note. Feel free to email me if you got anything. Go out there, have a great week, everybody. I think I shared with you already, we did find a home health care for my mother, so I appreciate everybody's assistance with that as well. And now if you got a good vet here in Cincinnati, we might need that as well. As I got my dog is stumbling around looking like he's drunk all day long. Maybe he got into the bourbon. I don't know, but we'll figure that out. All right. Love you guys. Have a great week.
Thanks for telling me about TDI.